Saraswati Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Now we're going to look at chapter 11, texts 25 through 35. And we can read the Sanskrit together and the translations together. Damshtra karalani chate mukhani dristvaiva kala nalasani bani disho na jane na labhes cha sharma prasida devesha jagannivasa. Translation: O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions I am bewildered. Text 26 through 27. Amichatvam dhritarashtrasya putra sarve sahaiva vanipala sangai Bhishmo drona sutta putras tataso sahasmadiyer api yodha mukyai vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti Damshtra karalani bayanakani Kechid vilagna darshanantareshu Sandrishante churniter utamangai. Translation: all the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, and Karna, and all our soldiers are rushing into your mouths, their heads smashed by your fearful teeth. I see that some are being crushed between your teeth as well. Text 28. Yatta nadinam bhavam vega samudram eva bimukhadravanti tatatavami naraloka vira vishanti vaktran yabi vijavanti. Translation: as the rivers flow into the sea, so all these great warriors enter your blazing mouths and perish. Text 29. Yatta pradiptam zvalanam patanga vishanti nashaya samridha vegaha tataiva nashaya vishanti lokas tavapi vaktrani samridha vegaha. Translation: I see all people rushing with full speed into your mouths as moths dash into a blazing fire. Text 30. Leli yase grasamana samantal lokan samagran vadaner jvalabi tejo bira purya jagat samagram basas tavograr pratapanti Vishnu. Translation: O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people in your flaming mouths and covering the universe with your immeasurable rays. Scorching the worlds, you are manifest. Text 31. Akyahi me ko bhavan ugra rupo namostute devavara prasida Vignatum ichami bhavantam adyam nahi prajanami tava pravritam. Translation: O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. I do not know what your mission is, and I desire to hear of it. Text 32. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kalosmi loka kshaya krit pravriddho lokan samahartum iha pravrittaha rite pitvam nabha vishyanti sarve yavashtitaha pratyanikeshu yodaha. Translation: The blessed Lord said, "Time I am, destroyer of the worlds, and I have come to engage all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain." Text 33. Tasmatvam utishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samriddham maya ivaite nahata purvameva nimitta matram bhavasavyasichan. Translation: Therefore, get up and prepare to fight. After conquering your enemies, you will enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savyashan, can be but an instrument in the fight. Text 34. Dronam cha bhishmam cha jayadratam cha karnam tatayan apiyodha viran maya hatam stvam jahima vatishta yudhasvajetasirane sapatnan. Translation: The blessed Lord said, all the great warriors, Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, are already destroyed. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemies. Text 35. Sanjay Uvacha Etach Trutva Vachanam Keshavasya Kritanjalir Vepamana Kiriti Namash Kritva Bhuya Evaha Krishnam Sagad Gadam Bita Bita Pranamya. Translation: Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna trembled, fearfully offered obeisances with folded hands, and began falteringly to speak as follows. Now we can go back to text 25 and I'll read the translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Text 25. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions I am bewildered. Text 26 through 27. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, and Karna, and all our soldiers are rushing into your mouths, their heads smashed by your fearful teeth. I see that some are being crushed between your teeth as well. Purport. In a previous verse, the Lord promised to show Arjuna things he would be very interested in seeing. Now Arjuna sees that the leaders of the opposite party, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and all the sons of Dhritarashtra, and their soldiers, and Arjuna's own soldiers are all being annihilated. This is an indication that Arjuna will emerge victorious in battle, despite heavy losses on both sides. It is also mentioned here that Bhishma, who is supposed to be unconquerable, will also be smashed. So also Karna. Not only will the great warriors of the other party, like Bhishma, be smashed, but some of the great warriors of Arjuna's side also. So there's plenty of exciting things happening, lots of action happening in the Bhagavad Gita as it is. There's a lot of fighting going on. People like to see some conflict, for entertainment, for mere entertainment. But this is actually the most exciting conflict being described here in the Bhagavad Gita as it is. And so there's lots of fighting, wrestling, and smashing. And why is all this happening? Well, the Bhagavad Gita, as it is, Bhagavad Gita means the song of God. So we actually have a text where God is speaking and singing throughout the whole text. That's quite nice to have this. And This is for everybody. This is for all living entities. So it's the song of God. So what happens is there's a big quarrel happening, a big family dynasty, where the Pandavas were promised a kingdom. And then, as you know, sometimes there's not always such nice personalities. Some personalities are not so nice, and some of them are not necessarily keeping God in the center, and they're not necessarily surrendered unto God. And so you've got these people like Dhritarashtra, and so as you know, people will do some not so nice things. They will, to get their way, to get their selfish way, people will lie and cheat and steal. So that's happening here too. That's happening here, where some people don't like Arjuna. Some people don't like the fact that this is actually his kingdom, that he's deserving of this kingdom. Dhritarashtra was blind from birth, and so therefore he was not eligible to become king. And so he's always wanted to be king, and so he's going to do anything he has to defeat the Pandavas. And there's so many indiscretions, the disrobing of their wife Draupadi in the assembly hall. Arjuna's enemies were so hell-bent on his destruction, that and his embarrassment, that they are willing to insult his wife right in front of everybody, and mess with her hair. And how would you feel if that was your wife? That would be pretty. And so all sorts, this is a huge battle. And so Lord Krishna and Arjuna have known each other their whole lives, and they've they're cousins and they're friends. And but our Krishna is speaking this. Krishna has agreed to be his chariot driver. If you look at the front, you can see Krishna is driving the chariot and Arjuna is pulling out some arrows. And so Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the topmost, the absolute truth, he's actually agreed to be his chariot driver. And so before the battle starts, they pull up in the middle of the two, in between the Kurus and the Yadav and the Pandavas. And they and Arjuna's saying, I don't know if this is a good idea to fight. And Krishna starts revealing himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And to where by this point, Arjuna is completely convinced that this is Krishna, this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But at the beginning, he said, oh, shouldn't I just go leave the battlefield? Isn't that the nicer thing to do? Just leave the battlefield and I can go live in the woods and they can have the kingdom. I don't even want it anymore. And Krishna is saying, no, in so many ways. He's saying, you're a kshatriya, you're a warrior. That's who you are. You're a warrior. And for a warrior to leave the battlefield is worse than death. So a warrior is willing to go to battle for their ideals. And Krishna also says, these people are they're already dead. They're going to die anyway. And right here, he's showing him the universal form. Arjuna asked him to show his amazing universal form, which is like this amazing, where you kind of see everything in the world. You see past, present, future, and you see so many horrible things. And devotees don't really want to see that. But Arjuna asked for our benefit so that Krishna as God would be understood throughout the ages. And also Krishna makes it clear that anyone purporting to be God has to show this universal form. So that rule is now in place, that if anyone ever comes up to you and says they're God, well, can I see the universal form? And so many people are thinking like that anyway, even if people don't admit it. A lot of people are going around and, we naturally want to be the best, and we want to, we want to be the best at everything. And we want to say, get out of my way. I want to be the best. And there's some good qualities in that. If we can try to be the best for Krishna, that's really good. But we just can't compete with anyone, because Krishna loves to see his work as a team. He loves that, and Srila Prabhupada loves that, and they demand it. And so this idea of I'm going to be the best, it's not always so nice, but we can do our best to serve Krishna and to show him how we feel. And if you could, a creation cannot understand its creator, where it's from necessarily. And but we can say prayers. You can think about different prayers, and just express your heart to Krishna. Open your heart, and you can say things like, Krishna, I can never repay you, really, because you've given me so much. You've given me so much, and I, over and over again, millions of lives, of course, I neglect everything you've given me. I neglect it. And Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai. But I can never repay you. And just help me remember. Please let me never forget you, and let me always remember you. And let me remember how grateful I should be towards you, and because you've given me everything. And he's got a plan in mind. He's got a plan. And so we can just help him with his plan. Everything going on in the material world is actually happening according to his plan. And nothing actually happens without a plan. A lot of people think so many things are going on randomly by chance. And Srila Prabhupada says over and over again, no, this by chance, that doesn't equate. That doesn't mean, what does that mean by chance? Krishna is the cause of all causes. And so nothing is happening by chance. And so no matter how we feel, no matter where we're at, it's like, Krishna, please, I can't, I really want to come back home. Please give me the tools to come back home, back to Godhead. But if there's another mission somewhere else, then that is fine. But I don't know if I can stand millions of births, millions of lifetimes away from you. You're our home. You're where we belong. So I can't take this being away from you. I don't know how much longer I can take it, but if you'd like me to, wherever you would like me to be, that's where I want to be. And text 20, this verse that's being mentioned here in text 25 and text 26 through 27. In a previous verse, the Lord promised to show Arjuna things he would be very interested in seeing. So Krishna is showing Arjuna this universal form, and so he's describing that here. And then Arjuna is about to give some really nice prayers. This verse is text 10.7, and Krishna says, whatever you wish to see can be seen all at once in this body. He's speaking of his universal form. This universal form can show you all that you now desire, as well as whatever you may desire in the future. Everything is here completely. So can show you all that you now desire. So that's why in the purport to 26 through 27, Srila Prabhupada says, in a previous verse, the Lord promised to show Arjuna things he would be very interested in seeing. Now Arjuna sees the leaders of the opposite party and their soldiers being annihilated. This is an indication that Arjuna will emerge victorious in battle. So a lot of these verses, sometimes there's indications and there's hints and foreshadowing, and the choice of words is so important. The words and the tone of each verse is part of the poetry of this book. It's actually a perfect book, and it's actually a manual on life. A lot of people think there's no instruction manual on life, and so that allows them to do whatever they want to do. Really, there's no well, there actually is an instruction manual on life. We just have to make sure that they know where to find it and put one in their home, and then they'll have so much clarification on life. So many secrets will be revealed to them. All the secrets of life are being revealed here. And it's powerful, and read it. As you read it over and over again, more and more will be revealed to you. It's ever fresh. It's ever sweet like that. So it's not the type of book you read once and you put up on the shelf like that. This is a very powerful book. as well as other such great books like Srimad Bhagavatam and Nectar of Devotion. Um, but Bhagavad Gita, called the Gita Upanishad, text 28, translation: as the rivers flow into the sea, so all these great warriors enter your blazing mouths and perish. So why is the analogy of a river given? Because it just naturally flows. It just keeps flowing. It's got so much power, and it's just going to flow and flow, and there's no stopping a river like that. So these great warriors are also going to perish, and even people on Arjuna's side are going to perish. And then Arjuna's thinking, gosh, my teacher's on the other side. I've got, so many people I know on the other side. Um, but Krishna is saying, no, fight this battle. And if Krishna wants something, who could say no? If Krishna, God wants something, we have to do it. His plan is supreme, and he's actually guiding us. He's actually arranging everything so perfectly, and he could easily, make the whole world Krishna conscious, but he actually is, he loves to see his devotees. He wants to give his devotees the credit, as it's said in these verses here. He's so magnanimous, and he doesn't want any credit. And he's the smallest of the small. He's actually in every atom, and his two-armed form is supreme, and only the devotees can really see that form. Text 29, I see all people rushing with full speed into your mouths as moths dash into a blazing fire. And so moths, so it's spoken a lot about moths, and maybe the moths don't necessarily consciously go into their demise. It's not like they're seeking out death, but it's like they can't overcome their instincts, because their instinct is so powerful to find light. And normally they're looking, natural sources, moon, stars, but their instincts are so powerful, they can't, when the fire draws them in, and they instinctually go in and meet their demise. And so these instructions that Krishna is giving, it's a little bit about, let's overcome our instincts. We have this intellect, we have this mind, and we have this intelligence that's above the mind, and we have to learn how to try to control this mind, this greatest of enemy. It can be the greatest of friends or the greatest enemy, and so we just have to learn to attempt to work with it, to control it with Krishna's help, and then you will find happiness. Then you can find happiness when we can kind of control this flickering mind that kind of goes sometimes wherever the wind, there's that saying, wherever the wind blows, that person goes wherever the wind blows. It's just whatever happenstance happens, they're just drawn to it, and they can't like override. So we have to learn how to override some of these instincts. And then we're going to become more pure, more powerful, and happier. And it's like a lion. It's almost like taming a lion, but you can see that a lion can be tamed. We see it, in the circus and things like that, that even a lion is, why is it so amazing to see that the lion in the circus? Because here's the lion, the king of the jungle, the most ferocious beast. And then here's a person with no weapon, we don't have any nails. We don't have any really built-in easy weapons the way a lion has. And yet this lion is being controlled by the person. And that's how we have to control our minds. Text 30, O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people in your flaming mouths and covering the universe with your immeasurable rays, scorching the worlds. You are manifest. Text 31, O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. I do not know what your mission is, and I desire to hear of it. Text 32. The blessed Lord said, Time I am, destroyer of the worlds, and I have come to engage all people, with the exception of you, the Pandavas. All the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. Purport. Although Arjuna knew that Krishna was his friend and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was nonetheless puzzled by the various forms exhibited by Krishna. Therefore, he asked further about the actual mission of this devastating force. It is written in the Vedas that the supreme truth destroys everything, even Brahma. Yasya Brahme cha kshatram cha ubhe bhavata odana mityur yasyo pasechanam ka ita veda yatrasa. Even eventually, all the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and everyone else are devoured by the Supreme. This form of the Supreme Lord is an all devouring giant. And here Krishna presents himself in that form of all devouring time. Except for a few Pandavas, everyone who was present in that battlefield would be devoured by him. Arjuna was not in favor of the fight, and he thought it was better not to fight. Then there would be no frustration. In reply, the Lord is saying that even if he did not fight, every one of them would be destroyed, for that is his plan. If he stopped fighting, they would die in another way. Death cannot be checked, even if he did not fight. In fact, they were already dead. Time is destruction, and all manifestations are to be vanquished by the desire of the Supreme Lord. That is the law of nature. So time is marching on, and except for the devotees, it's really kind of it's bringing everyone to their death. But for the devotees, we are just serving Krishna life after life, and so we're just utilizing our time for Krishna. So there's not a second wasted that's utilized for Krishna's service. And there's there's that. All right, where did that go? That's gonna be hard to find. 1 second. So there's a phrase, time and tide wait for no man. And that just it shows the importance of recognizing and utilizing time wisely in the pursuit of one's duties and spiritual growth, because time doesn't, it really does fly. Looking back, you can say, where did that time go? It really flies. And so Krishna actually wants us to be kind of well organized and well, have some organizational skills that allow us to start to organize our time a little bit. Because if you plan your day the night before, or the morning, or even a month ahead of time, if you kind of make some plans, it's amazing how when you write things down, it happens. I find that to be the case a lot of times. If I just write it down, whether it's something like to put in the calendar, or if it's just whatever it is, almost just if you write, there's a power of writing things down where it can really happen. So if we try to organize our time, and this idea of wasting time is happiness, that's a big idea in the material world, is that wasting time equals happiness. And of course we sleep every night, and we try not to sleep too much, just the required amount, because that's a lot of time too. Almost a third of one's life is sleep. And so keeping track, not getting rid of this idea of wasted time equals fun. It's like, no, actually getting things done is the most fun. Crossing things off the list is really fun. And serving Krishna is pure fun. And taking prasad, taking the nice foodstuffs, and learning the stories. Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tatvaha tyaktvedeham punar janma neti mam etiso Arjuna. One who remembers the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, after leaving the material body, take his birth again, but attains my eternal abode, or Arjuna. So remembering the appearance and the activities, that means every day. Think about it. What were some of Krishna's activities? What does he look like? That's why we keep such nice pictures around. We went to a room without a house without pictures of Krishna. it's not much of a house for Krishna, so we're utilizing it in his service. So there's something missing when we can't see Krishna, and sometimes we keep his picture on our phone, or sometimes we put a video on where, like, a Krishna slideshow, where we're seeing all the different pictures and being reminded. And these are very nice things. These are very nice. So time and tide wait for no man. Um, uh, so these natural forces that are beyond human control continue to move forward. Um, the inevitability of change and the importance of seizing opportunities and taking timely action. So timing, if you get an opportunity, uh, you don't know when that opportunity will come again. Right now we've got an opportunity to to go deeper into devotional service, and it's a great opportunity. And who knows when these opportunities will come again? So recognizing a good opportunity when it comes is very important. And remember, Krishna is guiding you from within. Krishna is in the heart as Paramatma. So he's guiding us. Living entities are being guided by him. They just don't know it. We're just getting some of the insider information about all of life. We're getting some of the secrets of life. Um, so other constants in life: change, aging, natural forces, wind, of course, is an unstoppable force, inertia, um, time and tide wait for no man. Okay. Um, text 32. The blessed Lord said, time I am. I read that purport. Text 33. Therefore get up and prepare to fight. After conquering your enemies, you will enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Savya Sachin, can be but an instrument in the fight. Savya Sachin refers to one who can shoot arrows very expertly in the field. Thus, Arjuna is addressed as an expert warrior capable of delivering arrows to kill his enemies. Just become an instrument. Nimitta matram. This word is also very significant. The whole world is moving according to the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish persons who do not have sufficient knowledge think that nature is moving without a plan, and all manifestations are but accidental formations. There are many so-called scientists who suggest that perhaps it was like this or maybe like that, but there's no question of perhaps and maybe. There's a specific plan being carried out in this material world. What is that plan? This cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead, back to home. I'll read that again. What is this plan? This cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead, back to home. So this whole thing is all for that. It's all for you. This whole setup is an arrangement for you to go back home, back to Godhead. As long they have the domineering mentality, which makes them try to lord it over material nature, they are conditioned. So if we try to control the uncontrollable, we're called conditioned. But anyone who can understand the plan of the Supreme Lord and cultivate Krishna consciousness is most intelligent. The creation and destruction of the cosmic manifestation are under the superior guidance of God. Thus, the battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of God. Arjuna was refusing to fight, but he was told that he should fight and at the same time desire the Supreme Lord. Then he would be happy. If one is in full Krishna consciousness, and if his life is devoted to his transcendental service, he is perfect. That's quite a statement. That's quite a statement. We have this idea that perfection is unattainable. But Srila Prabhupada says if one is in full Krishna consciousness, and if his life is devoted to his transcendental service, he is perfect. So that's a pathway. That's a pathway to what we used to think was impossible. And they think, these foolish people think that everything is accidental, and the scientists are saying perhaps. And you can see how the scientists change their mind so much. And they think life comes from chemicals somehow. They think somehow everything is coming from chaos. There's a beautiful perfect plan. They think it's a beautiful watch. You look at a watch, and a watch implies a watchmaker. You don't look at a watch and say, "Well, I wonder how that came together magically uh, by some sort of like bang or something." It's like, no, a watch implies a watchmaker. So look at how the whole cosmic manifestation is like a watch with the sun and the moon, everything happening so perfectly. And the scientists can't place a sun in the sky. And they change their minds so much. Year to year, the scientists are changing. The Bhagavad Gita as it is not changing. But the scientists every year are changing. In fact, not so long ago, they said, I think this is what it was. A few years ago, woolly mammoths, they say they became extinct like, like 100 million years ago, or they'd have these numbers like that. But then now they've changed it to like 10,000 years ago. So things in the scientific world, things can change so quickly from 100 million years ago or 10,000 years ago. That's quite a difference. And they just don't know. They really just don't know. Srila Prabhupada talks about, digging in the dirt. The scientist knowledge is coming from just like digging in the dirt. They don't know if these species are even extinct. How can they say that these species don't exist somewhere where they can't see them? So the scientists is they it's the type of person that just really they want a quick answer, or they want to just know exactly the way it is, and they can't handle any sort of mystical nature or anything that isn't 1+1=2. And in the spiritual world, even 1+1=1. And so that's a little bit about the scientists. Text 34. Blessed Lord said, all the great warriors, Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, are already destroyed. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemies. Purport. Every plan is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is so kind and merciful to his devotees that he wants to give the credit to his devotees who carry out his plan according to his desire. Life should therefore move in such a way that everyone acts in Krishna consciousness and understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the medium of a spiritual master. The plans of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are understood by his mercy, and the plans of the devotees are as good as his plans. One should follow such plans and be victorious in the struggle for existence. Amazing purport. Every plan is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we're always thinking that we're coming up with so many plans, but here it is said every plan is actually made by him. And everyone should act in Krishna consciousness and understand through a spiritual master. The plans are understood by his mercy. So if he's merciful towards us, he can clue us into his plans, and the plans of the devotees are as good as his plans because he loves his devotees so much, and he holds them in such high regard, his devotees. And so yeah, we just have to try to spread that. We have to try to give this knowledge to people, to people that are prone to it, or people that are what's the word I'm looking for? People that are receptive towards it. Thank you. We have to, people that are receptive. Their people are looking for this. They're actually they're actually dying of thirst. They're very thirsty, and they're looking for this knowledge. And so we have to assume that someone is looking for it and that we can help them. And we can't wait for the right time. And we have to be true to who we are. And we can't just go along with all the chaos of the material world, all the negativity that we see, and things that we don't like. And we can't just go along with all these things. We should actually bring people closer to God, because if you're not moving, people are either moving closer to God or they're moving away from God. They're either under Yoga Maya, where they're moving closer to God, or Maha Maya, where they're moving away from God. And this verse is kind of interesting because almost all the same names were mentioned just a few texts ago. In text 26 through 27, Bhishma, Drona, and Karna. And here in 34, Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, and Karna. So there's a new name there, Jayadratha. So Shiva had given Jayadratha a boon of being able to fight this battle to defeat any enemy. And so Arjuna is kind of thinking about this. And so Krishna knows Arjuna's mind, of course, because he knows all of our minds, he knows our hearts, he knows our intentions. So he mentions Jayadratha just to ease Arjuna's mind, because Arjuna is kind of thinking about this enemy, Jayadratha. And then what does he call him in this next? The helmet. This Kiriti, I believe, is what it is the helmet. Where is this? What's the word meanings? So he's called Kiriti Arjuna because there was a helmet that Indra gave to our celestial helmet that Indra gave to Arjuna when he defeated some of Indra's enemies. And so he called him Kiriti because of this celestial helmet that Arjuna wears. So now we have just a few minutes for maybe a couple comments or questions, if anyone would like to. Yes, Jagannath Prabhu.
Um, I was just wondering why we want to be the best and why this is not good. And then also, I was also wondering how we can conquer our instincts.
Oh, Jai. So how to conquer our instincts? Maybe those two tie together a little bit, because one of our instincts might be to try to be the best and get everyone out of the way until we have some sort of place that doesn't really exist. But um, so to conquer our instincts means to it's kind of there's this, we're human beings. We're created in the image of God and Krishna, but we still we have some of these animal lower instincts, that you can see the way people are, um, and so to conquer our instincts means to conquer a little bit, conquer our minds, and how to just stop ourselves from doing something that we really don't want to do, or maybe that we're going to look back on down the road and say, I wish I wouldn't have done that. I'll never know what would have happened if I hadn't have done that, or something like that. So to conquer our instincts, to conquer our mind a little bit, to a great teacher, wants his student to really learn, really succeed, and it's hard. But I remember, when I was teaching more guitar lessons, and you have this thought of, I want to teach them. Yes, you kind of hope that one day one of these students will surpass whatever abilities you have, because when that says so much about the teacher, even if the teacher doesn't get any credit. But how could I sit there with one of my students and try to, if I don't try to lift them up into a position that could potentially surpass my abilities, then I'm going to be giving them limited information and trying to. It's sad if a teacher's trying to keep a student down. Now, of course, a student has to certain steps. You can't go straight from the first floor to the 100th floor. So there's many steps. And so a teacher is trying to guide the student in whatever area they're in. But a great teacher is hoping is going to be happy if a student surpasses them. They could get a lot of joy out of that and say, gosh, I remember when that student was just a young student. And so that can be, a teacher can get a lot of pleasure out of that. And so yeah, we want to. Krishna has put something in as, we have this drive to please. We like to please. We like to serve. We're finding out that we like that true happiness can come through serving. instead of like this thing where we used to think is like, oh, only happiness comes from being served. But we find that we get happiness from serving. And so Krishna's put these things inside of us. It's almost like a puzzle just waiting to happen, where we have to figure it out. And we figure out that, like Maharaj and Gurudev, Dhanavir Goswami, he was like the best volleyball player in the nation, or if not the world, because, and he won those titles, title best collegiate player of the year and things. And he grew up playing volleyball, but he didn't love, he was so good, but he didn't really get enjoyment when his side would win, but then the other side would lose. So he's like, it wasn't so pleasing to him, because he was on this elevated platform of like empathy, or he's actually feeling what the other people are feeling. And so there's no longer any much enjoyment in that. It's like, yeah, I got to the top of the mountain, and how much fun is it to play, basketball against, a bunch of 5-year-olds or something, and it's like, I'm dunking on you fools, and it's like, okay, easy. But it's, you can have some fun competition, there can be fun, but we want everyone to win. So how do we set up a system where everyone can win, and where we can really tune into what Krishna wants from us? And that's really where we want to go. So thank you all very much. Shri Bhagavad Gita as it is, Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.